Even busted offensive plays that should have resulted in a loss ended up being 14-yard gains against the pathetic Patriots defense of 1972. John Riggins knocked over Patriots defenders like they were bowling pins. O.J. Simpson scored on an 11-yard touchdown without even being touched. Emerson Boozer ran 45 yards before being touched. Dave Rowe started 56 consecutive games to begin his pro career and made the Pro Bowl in 1968. He was a huge defensive tackle for whom the Patriots traded their 6'5", 265-pound starting left tackle Tom Funchess in September 1971. The Patriots needed a huge presence in the middle of their defensive line to help contain the opposition's running game. However, in August 1974, they traded him to the Chargers for their 1975 fourth-round draft pick, who would end up being running back Alan Carter out of USC. He only played 2 years, rolled up 134 yards of offense, and didn't score any touchdowns. Meanwhile, Dave Rowe went on to play 5 more seasons, most notably with the Raiders, where he won a Super Bowl ring with fellow defensive linemen John Matuzak and Otis Sistrunk. The Patriots allowed the most rushing yards and the most rushing touchdowns in the NFL, as well as yielding the highest yards per carry in the league, a whopping 5.0. The Patriots also gave up the most points in the NFL, an average of 31.9. They allowed almost 5 points per game more than the second worst defense, the Oilers. The Patriots defense also gave up the most yards in the NFL, 375 per game, which was 36 more yards than the next worst team, the Cardinals. Another solid defensive player that the Patriots traded was outside linebacker Jim Shiansky in April 1973 to the Bills, involving 2 linebackers that the Patriots received. Those linebackers played a total of 1 year for them, and that was that, while Shiansky played 4 more years in the NFL. At least the Patriots didn't let their best defensive player get away, defensive lineman Julius Adams, who led the team in sacks with a very modest total of 4 in 1972. Adams played 16 years for the Patriots while registering 80.5 sacks, and he made the Pro Bowl team in 1980. Patriots were as bad defending the pass as they were the run. They allowed the most touchdown passes in the NFL and sacked enemy quarterbacks the fewest times, only 15. The Patriots gave up 31 or more points in 9 of 14 regular season games. and had 3 games where they gave up 41 or more points. In Week 14 against Denver, they surrendered a season-high 341 passing yards, which was a huge number for 1972. John Outlaw was a 1968 10th-round draft pick who missed the entire season due to a knee injury. He was a cornerback who was one of the fastest players in professional football, and he started 20 games for the Patriots, but he was released after the 1973 season and signed as a free agent by the Eagles. He started 70 games in 6 years for them, and this is another example of letting a quality player get away. Patriots only intercepted 10 passes all year, and only 2 players had more than 1. Number 29, Honor Jackson, was the team leader with 4 interceptions. In 1973, the Patriots had 3 first-round draft picks, and wouldn't you know that they earmarked each one for an offensive player? Running back Sam Bam Cunningham out of USC was the 11th overall selection in the first round, while speedy Darryl Stingley out of Purdue was selected as a wide receiver with the 19th pick. The fourth overall pick in the first round was John Hog Hanna out of Alabama, and he was one of the greatest guards in NFL history. While these draft selections were outstanding, they didn't help the team's leaky defense, as they again allowed the most rushing yards in the NFL in 1973, 9 more per game than in 1972, and gave up the highest yards per carry in the league, 5.1. So how were the 1972 Patriots' defensive special teams? See for yourself. This 1972 club somehow won 3 games, and when they did win, it was cause for some serious celebration. Dick Evans was the defensive coordinator of the 1972 Patriots, his second and final year in New England, as well as in the NFL. He was the Eagles' defensive coordinator from 1964 through 1968, and they never finished in the upper half of the NFL in points allowed. In fact, in 1967, they finished in 15th place out of 16 teams and 13th out of 16 in 1968. He didn't coach in the NFL in 1969 and 1970, so I don't know why they hired him.